T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man,
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes,
Tell 'em.
exclusive. Oh,
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up.
happy Father's Day to all my legit fathers, my very player fathers out there, especially to my father. Happy motherfucking Father's Day, man. You are now tapped into the coolest reptile podcast in the world. I'm your boy, MJ. What is good, everybody? Happy Sunday. And again, happy Father's Day, man. Gotta love Father's Day, man. Anyways, hope you guys are enjoying your day. Thank you for tapping in. If this is your first time tapping in, do your boy a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Be part of the notification gang. You know what I'm saying? Hit that notification bell. That way you're on top of every single podcast I drop here on Trap Talk with MJ podcast, YouTube channel, and podcast, man. But anyways, I'm super stoked. Got somebody tapping in from Australia. And yeah, we're going to get down under here in just a second. Shout out to everyone in the early birds. If you're tapping in on this Father's Day, man, I appreciate you. It's my first time going live on a Sunday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So definitely a different time, but you know, we got to do what we got to do. We're tapping in with someone from Australia. So here we go. We're going to adapt to this time and we're going to make it happy. You know how we get things started on this podcast. For the freshest and bestest rodents delivered to your doorstep, Cold Blooded Cafe, #1 answer. $30 flat rate shipping. Shout out to Steven. Shout out to Desiree. Shout out to Sim Container, John and Alex. If you got eggs, put them in a sim box. That's what I do, and I am pretty successful at it sometimes. If it's chondros, not really. But guys, sim containers is where it's at, man. Everybody uses sim containers who I mess with as far as people who've been doing this for a while. So please go to Sim Container, follow them on Instagram, and check out their monitor program. They have legit shit going on over at Sim Container. Appreciate my boys. Shout out to Steven and Ashley. God damn, these two are like really on my good side right now, like big time. I will be doing a reveal here on their brand new Arcadia enclosures that I got from them. I got 12 of these beautiful brand new enclosures that I built myself. Last step right now is just waiting for these damn cords to plug into the lights of the final 6, and then I'll have all my lights lit up, and this shit will be on and popping. Either way, I'm going to be dead honest right now. I am not getting any other enclosures besides Focus Cube Habitats. Even if they're not my sponsor down the road or for whatever, I don't give a shit. I am a forever lifer Focus Cube Habitat rocker. I'm telling you right now, my room is just, it just feels different. Completely feels different. So shout out to Steven, shout out to Ashley. Head over to Instagram, give them a follow, and go to their website, man. Don't be sleeping on them. Shout out to, and they're flexing Texas all day every day. Shout out to the #1 stainless steel rat company in the game, Jesse, and the entire Freedom Breeder crew. Thank you so much for the support. Cannot wait to hang out with these guys at the Anaheim Super Show. That's just around the corner, less than a month away, less than 3 weeks away. God damn, it's on the way. Here we go. Shout out to Jesse. Appreciate your support, man. honestly, I really appreciate it. Cannot wait to hang out with you guys. And then shout out to my big homie, my big dog, OG, triple OG, Miguel Garcia. Always Evolving Pythons. Please go give him a follow on Instagram. Go check out his productions on Morph Market. He's going to have so much heat this year, so you're going to want to tap into this guy's work for sure. And then definitely go subscribe to his YouTube channel. Again, Miguel, thank you for your support. Shout out to Turtle. Shout out to the entire AP family. Shout out to Jesse and the entire AP crew. Man. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for all your support. And then shout out to my boy Alan over at Amazing Basins, working with my favorite species of arboreals by far. I mean, I can't say by far. Northerns and basins. I mean, those are. I love the condors, man, but I'm sorry, those are number one in my heart right now. I really mean that. So. My boy is really tapped in with these basins. I feel like you need to go tap in as well to see what he has going on because he's a shoo-in. I'm telling you, not too many people have the patience and really big heart to work with these. These are not easy to work with as far as breeding goes, and he has it down. So please go over to Instagram, give my boy Alan a follow. Amazing Basins. Get ready for what he has dropping this year. And of course, he has amazing ball python stuff that he's just now revealing. So shout out to my boy Alan. I appreciate all your hard work, bro, and thank you for your support. Shout out to Blake Stewart over at Stewart Design. Head over to sdidentity.com if you would like to promote yourself to the fullest extent and invest in your own brand, because that's crucial. And then if you want to talk about one of the most players guys in the ball python game in history, Mark Bailey, Reptiles, baby. OG, triple OG, triple. My dog right here. Mark, thank you so much for your support. Cannot wait to see this guy soon. I'm not going to reveal where he's going to be at, but he's going to be where I'm at, and it's going to go down. Shout out to Mark Bailey, Reptiles. Appreciate your support. Shout out to the leaders of the industry, my boy Rami over at the Reptile Super Show, throwing the #1 show in the West Coast. Appreciate everything you do, bro, because honestly, these shows are life-changing. So I appreciate all that, and I appreciate Bob Ashley and Brian Potter over at the NARBC throwing the Super Bowl reptile shows. Schaumburg's right around the corner. It's going to be lit. And then we have Arlington after that. I'm telling you guys, make it to these shows. You never know who you're going to meet. And you never know what moves you're going to make. Life-changing type shit happens at these shows. I'm telling you. And then Phil Goss, my man. Please go over to usarc.com .org, and support USARC. Become a member today, and also go over to YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and stay on top of all the USARC, lettering, or what am I saying? All the news updates and shit. That's what I'm saying. But anyways, appreciate you, Phil Goss. Appreciate you if you support USARC. Thank you for being on my team. And yeah, let's fuck shit up. Appreciate you if you follow me on Instagram. If not, head over right now to Instagram and give me a follow. MJ Exotics Cartel with an A, not an E. Please go give me a follow on Trap Talk with MJ podcast as well. Follow the podcast's Instagram page. That way you stay current on everything that's happening with the podcast. Shout out to my Twitch viewers if you're watching on Twitch. Shout out to you, and then shout out to anyone who would like to send a super chat. If you got a question for my homie Luke, go ahead and send a super chat, and I appreciate any donations, guys. Honestly, I'm not worthy of a donation, but you guys like to send me donations. So the best way to do that, Exotics Cartel with an A, not an E on PayPal. Much love, seriously, all day, every day. But I do appreciate just any subscribe, all that. I appreciate it. Just a view, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. And then shout out to my Patreon family, my fucking trappers, my day oneers, growing by the day. Love my trap family. Thank you so much for your love and support. If you want to get more out of this, if you want to tap in behind the scenes of this podcast, if you want to tap into a Discord, if you want just to be a part of a sick-ass growing community, you want to go down to the Trap Talk Patreon Discord, Patreon family right now. Join the Trap Talk Patreon family, and then you get tapped into the Discord. You get invites to special events, all big things popping on the Trap Talk Patreon Discord. We also get together every Sunday, except for today because it's Father's Day, and I do have arrangements with a couple pops after this. So not today, but usually every Sunday we get together on Zoom calls and whatnot. We do a lot of face-to-face. So we're very tapped in with each other. So I'm telling you right now, man, if you want more out of this shit and you're looking to be in this for the long run, become a trapper. Become one of the Trap Talk Patreon fan members today. And appreciate all my Patreon members. Love you guys. Who is here in the building? Who is ready to tap with my boy Luke? It's going to be a good episode, man. Shout out to homie Genomic Labs. What is good? This episode will be interesting. Cannot wait to learn more about blue tongue skinks myself. Shout out to Sunshine State Sulfurs in the building. Appreciate your support, big dog. AE Foundry. What is good? Thanks for tapping in. The homie Jason Barber J in the building. Thanks for tapping in. Trap Talk Patreon family member all day, every day. The homegirl Chantel, Team Zoo Dreams in the building. Trap Talk Patreon family member all day, every day. The homie Dom, 72 Serpents, Trap Talk Patreon family member all day, every day. The homie Jason, I can't even say that last name. AKR. I'm just going to say AKR. What is good? Thanks for tapping in. Isaac Rodriguez. What is good? Thanks for tapping in. All right, guys. First time ever having someone tapping in from Australia. I'm excited because guess what? A lot of things that I love to this day come from Australia, like the laces, just lizard species in general. I've been geeking out over the lizard species over the last 2 years, I would say, easily. Okay, so it's been a while since, not been a while, but it's been a long time coming since having an Australian guest who keeps reptiles tapping into this podcast. But here he is in the flesh, the homie Luke from Lizard Morphs. What up, Luke?
Hey, how are you?
Top of the morning from where you're at. It's early, right? It's like what, 5, 6 a.m. or some shit?
It's 10:06. Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, thanks for doing this. Thanks for being up and at 'em and how you doing? How are things down under?
Good. Yeah, no problems. Yeah, like it's not Father's Day here. It wasn't yesterday either. I'm in the future, so it's 6 a.m. Monday morning.
I'm talking to the future right now. That's awesome.
Yeah. But it's not it wasn't Father's Day here this weekend, but I had a lot of I have a lot of US people on Instagram, so I had a few messages from people saying, "Oh, you know, happy Father's Day, etc." But it's not Father's Day for us, but that's all good, you know. So yeah, no, it's all good. Monday morning. Yeah.
How's everything? If you could just give me an idea what part of Australia you're in, that way I know where in Australia you at.
So I live the closest big city is Melbourne, which is the far southeast corner, so right down the bottom on the eastern seaboard. So most of the population in Australia live on the east. There's only one city on the west. It's sort of pretty isolated. They like to think they're another country actually over there, but the rest of us all live on the east coast. So we're at the bottom. So we're Melbourne. Then north of us is Sydney. Then further again is Brisbane, and then the far north Queensland and so on. So yeah, I'm right down the bottom, and it's the opposite because I'm in the southern hemisphere. I'm in the coldest bit, you know, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So you do have unique, or you have specific species of Australia that live in your area that probably aren't common in the north area, right?
Correct. Yeah. Oh, some spread like in Victoria we have lace monitors. I know you love lace monitors, so we have lace monitors in my area. I think I sent Mason Barnes some videos the other day. He's a big lace monitor fan, like yourself, a friend of yours. And I sent him some videos the other day. I saw a lace monitor at like a camping ground.
Yeah,
so the lace monitor,
black ones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So down in the down where we live, because it's colder, they're black. Like they're really dark colored to soak up the sun. And I think the further north you get, the more they get white and stuff on them, you know. Yeah.
More stripy, like more contrast light ones. But me, I'm
Correct.
a dark guy. I love the dark stuff, and I'm this year going to be pursuing a pair of some really dark looking laces, you know, from my boy Ryan Waterloo. Anyways, but yeah, he was talking about those only being found in the southern part of Australia because it's colder. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I think they call it like the area in Victoria where they are seen mostly is Gippsland. So it's called a Gippsland locality. Yeah, but they'll be dark. They'll be black as.
Now, is it true that they're basically a pest down there? Like there's so many of them that they basically people can't stand them. Is that true?
No.
Okay. All right.
No.
Glad you bunked that because somebody said that and I was like, wow, that would suck. Like, you know, because I mean, I would never be sick of seeing a lace monitor. I could see that fucking cruise all.
No, they're actually pretty hard. Like you don't see that many, so no, they're not a pest. No way. No.
Now, let me ask you. I'm curious. The part you live in, the area of Australia you live in now, was born and raised, or were you all over Australia growing up? Where were you primarily?
No, I came from this city, so I grew up in this city. I now live about an hour north of the city, so I live in the more rural area. But yeah, no, I'm from this part of Australia. Yeah.
And I'm just curious, you know, being a kid growing up in Australia, it was a natural to just be all about the reptiles and finding shit, or how did you kind of get related, or how did reptiles enter your life? Yeah,
so my mum is a veterinary biologist. So she's a vet scientist. Yeah. So we used to have a laboratory in our house. My mum used to blood test all the animals at the zoo. She used to blood test racehorses and all sorts of shit. So we had a lab out the back. She used to breed rats and mice for testing and all sorts of crazy shit. So I was sort of always into animals. And then I lived in the inner city, like 5 or 6 miles from the dead center of the city, and we lived on the train line. And there's a lot of little skinks and little lizards that live on the train line in the rocks and under the tracks. And so I used to be up there all the time catching those little things and mucking around with the little skinks and stuff. And yeah, I've just always been into reptiles, you know.
Okay, awesome. And it's a little different in Australia, right? I mean, as far as like breeder mentality and whatnot, and like, I mean, what I mean by that, like, there's laws and restrictions, correct?
Yeah, so there's licenses in all the states. So each state's a little bit different. There's not as many states here as you've got over there, so it's not too restrictive. But there's things that are on and off license that you can and can't have. But it's pretty good. There's not many things you can't have that I want to have, you know. So it's pretty cool. You have to have a license. You have to keep records. It depends in the different states. Like blue tongue skinks in Victoria, not on license. You don't have to have a license. But bearded dragons, you do. What's the difference? But just how it goes. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, like blue tongue skinks, like I've always like it's something I remember seeing throughout my childhood. Like, that's a lizard. I don't want to say all the time, but I familiarized with seeing that lizard, and I enjoy it. But I've never seen anything quite like this before. Like, I've never seen a blue tongue skink. I didn't even know they could look like this. So, I mean, how far back do you go with working with this species? Was this kind of like the foundation species that helped you kind of get started, or let's kind of get talking about the blue tongue skink here?
Yeah. So blue tongues were the first reptile I got into. That's a pure eastern albino. So there's actually quite a lot of blue tongue species. So in America, you guys have the Australian stuff that you guys have got is mostly northern. You don't have much eastern stuff, but in Australia, we've got eastern, we've got northern, we've got blotched, we've got alpine blotched, we've got all the shinglebacks. So we've got a lot of different ones, but that's an eastern albino. And we have a lot of recessive mutations and codominant mutations here. So, we can't have ball pythons. So it's illegal in Australia to have anything that is imported or exported. You can only have Australian species. We can't have anything import or export.
And that's, I mean, as much as it sucks for you guys, it sucks for us too, because you got to understand the fucking species that people are willing to, you know what I'm saying, bad stuff for, you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I mean, look, everything that's Australian that's in America either went to a zoo and got bred and sold out of the zoo, or went over there in a Pringles can, one or the fucking other, right? Like, so, but but the good thing about the blue tongues I find for me is that I watch all the American reptile shit. I watch your podcast, I watch Chris Eaton's podcast, I watch all that. I like ball pythons. I like all the recessive mutations, and the good thing about blue tongues for us is that they've got a lot of mutations. So you can play that mutation game and breed single, double, triple, quad visual animals, and I think that's fun. So that's the part of it I like. So yeah.
Awesome. So let's kind of talk about, how reptiles always stuck with you throughout your life. I mean, what was it that you did basically out of high school? Like what were your the financial providing jobs or duties you were doing to get you going?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's funny in Australia, I think there might be one or two people, but very few. You can't make a living off breeding and selling reptiles. Unless you own a shop, you can't, unless you own a shop, or you're like, there's maybe one or two private breeders that I know that sort of do it full time. It's not really a viable thing here. We don't have the population. So, I think, more people live in Los Angeles than live in Australia, for goodness sake. So it's hard, so we don't have the population to have full-time reptile breeders. So it's really it is a hobby. I get asthma, so I hate having animals in the house with hair, fur, and shit. So I like scales. So I keep frogs and fish and lizards, and I don't keep any snakes, but I keep a lot of reptiles, and then I keep fish and stuff. But and I keep insects as well. Keep a lot of insects, but yeah. You can't do it as a full-time thing. So I've always had jobs. Me and my wife, we both work full-time, but we sort of split our collection in half. I look after the blue tongues mostly, and then my wife looks after the bearded dragons mostly. And it works pretty good. We breed quite a lot, but we breed heaps. And then I wholesale most of my animals if I is the best way for me. I've got a friend who owns a shop, and he can take them off me in bulk, and saves me having millions of babies at the same time. Especially with bearded dragons, they're pretty prolific breeders. You have so many eggs and so many little babies, so that works great for us. Yeah.
So if you could pick a species that you could say you make some sort of a little bit of change off of, it would be the bearded dragons. That's the lucrative stuff that you're producing every single year.
Yeah, because they're pet. It's a big pet market for bearded dragons.
Right.
And the shop can take them when they're very small. So I know I can breed a lot more females because I know when I hatch them, I can get rid of them quickly. It just works grouse. Works great. Yeah.
Before we move forward, shout out to all the female keepers and Emma. Salute to Emma. I will say, Emma, next time I will need you on the show. Okay. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Luke's like, hey, Emma's not gonna be here, and then my stomach sank a little bit, but I understand.
Well, it's very early. It's very early in the morning. She's not a morning person,
I'll stay up late. I'll sacrifice my sleep next time, just so I can get Emma on the show. Okay, how about that?
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah,
but yeah, let's tap into some of these awesome looking fucking bearded dragons that you are actually working with. Like, I've never seen anything this white before in a bearded dragon. This is really, really cool looking.
So that's Ricky. He's a hypo zero bearded dragon. He's definitely the whitest thing I've ever made. Yeah. So I bred het zero to het zero and produced him. And yeah, he was just so white we kept him because he's just like ridiculous. Yeah.
What's up with this guy's comment right here? It's kind of creepy, don't you think? I love you. Like, is he talking to you?
I think he's talking about the dragon.
Oh, okay. Are you sure? Because he's like, I've heard like stories about him wanting a kiss or something. So, Shane, I don't know what's going on with you. I hope this is just you being happy. Just kidding. My boy, I love Shane. So let me ask you something like this. I mean, obviously you're not wholesaling shit like this, right?
No. So the real, when I get like the really good recessive mutations like that, then I would sell them on the private market. So we don't have Morph Market here, but we have a page called Australian Reptile Classifieds, and so that's the sort of thing I would sell on there for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. And like what's in a ballpark, or like what's the range of something like this go for? I mean, I'm sure prices are a little different in Australia, right?
Yeah, maybe $1,500 for something like that. Oh,
that's not bad at all. And is this the same one? It's a different type of zero. Or...
So that's another zero as well, but that's got trans. Yeah.
Wow, bro, this thing is trippy looking. Look at the eyes.
Yeah, so it's trans. So it's got a full black eye, and it's a translucent. Yeah. So you can sort of see through its guts. Yeah. We kept her as well. She's a holdback as well. Yeah, she's cool.
So I'm curious with the bearded dragons, because it's those and the skinks that you produce, right? What other species are you? I mean, you're working with other stuff, but what have you bred so far that you still work with?
So breeding wise, just the blue tongue skinks and all the different mutations, and the bearded dragons mutations, and insects. We breed insects and sell them to the shop as well.
Insects for sure here in a bit.
Yeah. But we don't. I've got some marbled geckos. We've had eggs, but haven't been successful making any. And we've got some frogs. We breed a lot of fish, actually. We breed tons of fish, tropical fish and stuff. Yeah, we sell them to the shop too. Yeah.
Good deal. Now I'm curious. I've talked to a lot of monitor breeders, in general, and even on the podcast about how many times a monitor can cycle in a year and drop eggs. how is that with the bearded dragons and the skinks? Are they multiple clutch droppers as well, or how's that working?
So the skinks are live bearers.
Oh, they're live. Drop them live.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they're like the boa species of lizards.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Wow.
skinks are live.
Crazy.
So skinks, you can only breed them once. So
Okay.
we brumate them in winter. You cool them, you warm them back up, and then you've got a really short window to breed them. The males will go crazy, smash the girls, and then you cross your fingers that the girls are gravid, but you don't actually know. You know, you can see some visual cues, but you get some fat females as well, and you think they're gravid and they're not. So
Right.
it's a bit of a lottery. The skinks are hard. So so live bearers, and then the bearded dragons, you breed them once, they'll retain sperm, but a female might drop 5 to 7 clutches.
Mm-hmm.
And she might drop 25 to 30 eggs a clutch.
Oh my God.
From
That's
one pairing. Yeah. So if you've got a good male that's got a good shot, you might get 5 to 7 clutches. So you make 150 babies from one female.
But you have it down to where you could kind of determine how much production is, right? Like if you need to chill shit out, you know when to chill it out if you want to.
Yeah.
Right?
So as soon as she drops a clutch, after she comes out of that lay box, if you want her to stop, don't feed her. If you feed her immediately and she eats, within that half an hour, dropping those eggs and coming out of the lay box, she's starting again. And they can sometimes they'll drop eggs they can drop eggs anywhere from about 2 to 4 weeks apart. So but the girls, if you keep smashing the food into a girl that's laying, she'll just keep dropping clutch after clutch after clutch. So when you want them to stop, just pull the food.
And that's just like any monitor species or lizard species. I feel like that's what I'm being told about the laces and other, like it's all about the feeding. Like it all comes down to the feeding, and the timing and all of it. And then I'm curious with the bearded dragons, are they cohabbed or are they separated? How are they housed?
I keep them all separate. A lot of people say you can keep 2 girls together, and that's all. That's all well and good. You probably can until you come home one day and one of them is missing a fucking arm. That's not for me.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm not doing that. I keep them all separate. I have tried to keep some sibling females together, but they got nasty when there was food about. It's just not worth the risk. I've got children. Talking about Father's Day, I've got some kids, and if my daughter's bearded dragon, lost a limb, I'd be the worst dad in the world. So I just keep them all separate, safer, no issues. So I don't cohab anything. And I think also too, when you introduce a male and a female, if they've never seen each other before, they go a bit harder. You're definitely going to get them to breed.
And I'm sure chemistry comes down to it sometimes.
Yep. Oh. Only for the girl. The boys don't give. The boys don't care. The males, any hole's the goal. They don't worry them.
And then I'm curious. Good.
Yeah. But the girls sometimes are, if they're not interested, they'll get pretty grumpy and they'll fight the male off. And
I'm curious about when, because we're talking about how you feed the female, and I'm curious, is there a point where she turns off food and then you pair the male, or when is the point when you add the male? Like, when's that timing for you adding the male?
So we brumate them so they're cooled. When they come out of brumation, we warm them up for probably 2 weeks and start to feed them and just get them sort of back up and about. And then we do introduction. So we'll put a female in with the male, and they have visual cues. So the males do that like crazy head bob, and they're interested. And girls do like a slow hand wave if they're being submissive. And if they're not interested, the girls will do a really slow head bob, up and down, up and down. And if they're doing that slow head bob, mate, doesn't matter how keen the male is, she's not letting him. He can jump on her. She will fight him off. So you can tell when the girl's not interested And if the girl's already been paired and she's gravid, and you show her the male again, she'll start that slow head bob. You know she's good. She's done. Yeah.
You know, as much as I think the head bobs are cute, they're really not always a good thing. It's like, yo, that's
no, they know.
Good.
Yeah, it's definitely they're definitely visual cues. You know, like when we first started breeding bearded dragons, I saw a female doing that slow head bob, and I thought there was something wrong with her. I thought she'd like because she sort of went into like a funny trance, you know, and and I'm like, what is wrong with this bearded dragon? I thought, but that's a female telling the male to get stuffed, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And then, you know, obviously there's a point in time when the bearded dragon will ovulate, right? And I'm sure that's when you like to pull the male, or when's the point where you like to pull the male?
Oh, no, like I literally put the male in the enclosure. I watch them breed within 5 minutes, and I take him out. That's it.
Oh, very quick.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he'll Yep.
Is that all you need? Is that one lock? Wow, one and done. Damn.
One and done. And in 30 days, if she's not laying eggs, I would try again. But 8 out of 10 times, she's laying eggs. Yeah.
But there are times where the cycle doesn't produce anything. So that is possible. It's not uncommon either. You're saying
normally dud eggs. So if all they're producing is dud eggs, you could try the male, you know, infertile eggs. You could try the male again, try and see if he can get some get something in there and fertilize some eggs. But normally one and done I've been pretty successful with one and done. Yep.
Now, I know you don't keep any laces yet, but there are some sort of plans or something like that? Or, I mean, I don't really understand it. Maybe at some point, or what's going on with that? Let's talk about it.
So I've just started doing monitors. So I've got pygmy mulga monitors, which are Varanus gillani. Yeah.
Those are cool. I like those.
And they're cool. Little tiny monitor. And so they're a pygmy monitor. They grow about as big as a bearded dragon. And they're cool as. So I got a trio of those recently, babies that I'm currently growing up, and I'll definitely want to breed those. I was talking to Mike from Mike's Monitors about what he does with his, because he's got those, you know, hot cycles and, you know, temperatures and stuff. Yeah. And yeah, the next species that I want to get is I definitely want to get a lace monitor this year. So babies in Australia are born in about a month from now. So people will start hatching them out soon. So once they're hatching, I will be on the market if anyone's watching that breeds good-looking laces in Australia.
Yeah. Shout out to anyone if they are watching in Australia. That's sick. But I will say this: how easy or even expensive is it to acquire a lace in Australia? I mean, is it pretty like feasible, or is it kind of like, you know, is it difficult? Like how is that?
Nah, so like a really nice Bell's phase lace monitor in Australia would max out at about $1,500.
Wow, Jesus! You know how much they're going for down here? Do you even know?
Nah.
Oh my God, a lot. Let's just say that, a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I've got albino blue tongue skink you showed earlier. There's a couple of people with albino blue tongues in America, and they're like 15 grand, and here they're like $1,500. It's like 10 times the price.
So 1,500 is like the high end price for something. Like is anything surpassing 1,500 that you could think of?
Yeah, so like the double and triple and quad genetic mutations in blue tongues are more. And some of the snakes are more.
Okay.
But
so they can.
There's like, yeah, I don't know any $10,000 animals or anything like that. Like you get over there.
So 1,500, you're looking for, you know, you could get a pretty solid high end looking lace for 1,500 is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the most expensive I've ever seen one. It's $1,500.
And you're looking to get a Bell's, you're looking to get a normal. What are you looking to get?
I love the normals, but I think I'll get a Bell's. I just want one that's like real clean looking, like real white.
I don't
as
think you
wide as
could have.
possible.
I don't think you could have one or the other. I mean, there's so many people out there that say, "Oh, I love normals," but like I can never just see myself having just normals. Like I have to have one or the other. Like I love the bells, but I also love the normals. So that's the next move.
Look, I don't normally, like I got, I got 2 blue tongues as pets for Christmas, and now I've got like 50 blue tongues. I'll probably end up with more than one, but I think I'll start with bells, but I could end up with both.
Right. And I'm curious, as far as the knowledge you have so far behind the lace monitor, like if you were to acquire lace and have it in your collection, what would be the primary diet that you'd like to feed it?
Well, I think most people feed rodents, but I think in the wild here, I think they eat a lot more birds. So I think quail would be, I would maybe breed quail, or feed quail. But I think they eat a big variety of stuff, But I think a lot of people here do rodents, But rodents are pretty high in fat,
That's why I feel like it's a delicacy. Like I don't feel like it hurts if it's like, hey, here's a blue moon, here, take a rat, But like for it to be its primary diet, I feel like that's a recipe for disaster, because you're just, that's not healthy. It can't be healthy,
I think it's like eating McDonald's every day, isn't it?
Right. And the only way I feel like if someone knows it's unhealthy and still wants to do it, it's because they just want to breed it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the main purpose, is getting it fat. And, because I heard there's like a phrase down here. I don't know if they have it in Australia, but I've heard monitors say this down here, keep them hot, feed them a lot. And that like doing those 2 things will always keep your fucking monitor breeding, is from what I hear,
Sure.
Because And I don't know, like after talking to Brian Waterloo, and he tells me how he shuts his down, and and also does, I've raised mine up since they were babies. They're a month apart. They have the same dad but different mom. They're both bell phase monitors. They're about 1.5 years, going a little bit older, but they still live together. And Mac Dre kind of just smothers her, and I don't know. I'm kind of like, well, I don't know if this is a good idea to continue this like throughout everything, and I kind of maybe just don't want them to ever get complacent or just maybe over each other just because they're around each other all the time.
I think there's a certain age at which if you split them, when you introduce them for breeding, I think you'll have better success.
Right.
If they live together all the time,
they won't know.
He's sort of sick of her, like, there's no challenge, especially they live in an enclosure, right? Like it's not like in the wild, he would be on his own all the time, and he would come across a girl and get excited and try and breed her, and then he would be on his own again. So I think that cohabitation, there's got to be at some age where that might hurt your breeding, I reckon. I don't know, just
or just slow it down, like it could just be a while before anything happens.
More relaxed,
or not at all. Either way, I do know that. They calling it get a little piece of strange for a reason. If it's something they're not familiar with, they're gonna want it. So I do this. That is the game plan. So like I said, what are we in June? We're in June right now, right? So if Mac Dre was born in January, that would make him 1.5 years. And if Alice was born in February, she's just shy 1.5 years. This would be the perfect time to do that. Then is what I'm assuming, this 1.5 year mark, because 2.5 years they say a female could go, right? 2 to 2.5 years is when they could actually start cycling. Is that right?
Yeah. So in all the species I keep,
I
don't breed them in that first year, like that first season. And I don't, like Waterloo was saying to you the other day, how he cools them. I cool everything. So all the bearded dragons, all the blue tongues, everything here gets cooled. But yeah, if they're in their first 12 months of life, I don't cool them. I keep the heat on. I keep the food up to them, even during winter. I give them
for the strong growth purposes. Like that's to keep them growing, right?
Yeah, because I think if you brumated them in that first year, then you wouldn't breed them at 2.5. You'd be breeding them at 3.5 or 4.5. I think it would cost you a whole year. So I keep the heat up. I keep the food up until they're about 18 months, and they do their first brumation. They come out of that first brumation, and then I breed everything, mostly. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about the brumation. I might kind of approach that this coming year. I mean, there's obviously a time of year you like to do this, which is your winter time, right? When it
Yeah,
gets
so
cold.
our winner. That's right.
So-
So we're brumating right now. Yep, we're the opposite to you. Yep.
Right. So I would say that going into it, are you feeding them heavy before you shut them down, or how are they being fed before this shutdown? If you don't mind.
I feed everything normal. I don't feed them any extra or less. I just feed them normal until about 2 weeks until they brumate, and then I reduce the food by half so they eat less, because I don't want them to go into brumation with food in their guts. I want them to be pretty empty.
Right.
So yeah, I feed them normal until 2 weeks to go. Then I halve the amount of food in the last 2 weeks. Then I give them about 3 or 4 days with no food before they start brumating. And then they all go down. Just turn them down. And some of the lizards don't. Some will go in their hide, go to sleep. You don't see them; they're dead. Some of them are up and down, up and down. They're drinking. They're up on there. They're up getting UV. They won't actually go down, but it's still a food cycle. So you stop feeding them. All of the stuff that happens in a brumation will happen just because you don't give them food.
Right.
So they'll do all that brumating type behavior, and all of the things happen to them. So I think it's as much about the food cycle as it is about the temperature cycle for a lot of them. And yeah, so no food and no heat, depending on the species here, for about 8 weeks. And then I start to warm them up, put the food back into them, and then for the dragons, I just introduce them and see if there's that mating behavior. For blue tongue skinks, we wait for the male. So what we want to see after a brumation, after you've got them warmed up, after you started feeding again, is you want to see a male do a full shed and drop sperm plugs.
Oh, okay.
Once they do that, they're on. You got about 2 weeks, and they'll breed everything you put them near. Yep.
Okay. And then, I'm curious, at this 8-week mark, and you turn the heat back on. Oh, by the way, during this brumation period, when it's daylight, you do provide UVB lighting, just no basking, right?
Yep.
It's no basking, right?
Well, I don't turn my basking complete. I live in Victoria, and it's fucking freezing here. Like, it's cold. Like really cold. So I just turn all my temperatures down. They're not completely off. So the ambient still in my enclosures is somewhere between 15 and 20 C. I don't know what that is for you.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, so I keep all the ambience between 50 and 20 C, when normally their heat is between 30 and 40 C. So it's like halved, but it's not completely off. Yeah,
59 to 64 degrees.
Yeah,
damn,
that's cool. That's cold. Yeah, would you consider that cold?
Do you think it's going to be a problem if my room doesn't get that cold and I'm doing brumation? You think that's going to be an issue?
No, this is my room that I'm in. This is a equivalent to an additional bedroom in our home. So we've got central heating. So the central heating, I close it in the roof so the heat doesn't get pumped in here. And at nighttime, I shut the door so the house's heat doesn't get in here as much. But the heat lights in the enclosures don't flick on and off. My wife having the heater on keeps the room ambient temperature anyway. So no, I think it's fine. Just don't give them anything extra,
Okay. And if you're brumating a lizard for the first time, right? You say after you give them a year and a half or so to get going. I'm just curious because mine are very they love food. You know what I'm saying? And I don't feed them every day at all. I spread it out. I also change it up. I go anywhere from ground turkey egg to quail. And then once I try to limit this now. I was doing once a week. I'd give them maybe a large mouse or something like that. But now after talking to many of the breeders, I'm kind of doing more quail versus rodent. So anyways, I switch it up, but they love food, man. And trust me, when I go those 3 days of not feeding them, they fucking come at me they are ready to eat. So I'm curious, is there a moment when you shut them down where they're just fucking hyperactive and they're just like, hey, what's going on? Feed me. Or do they kind of naturally know where things are slowing down and I should just chill? I'm curious on what your experience and what you witnessed from that.
90% of them just know it's cool. They don't want to eat. They go to bed. You don't see them. And then I've got one bearded dragon. Like she sits next to her food bowl every day. Every day when I walk in here, she's looking at me like, come on, asshole, like feed me. What are you doing? So they're all a little bit different. They do have different personalities. It's one of the things that attracts me to lizards over snakes, I guess, is that, they've got little legs. They're like, they've got personalities more than like a ball python. The ball pythons look great, but they don't really have their own individual personalities. So the lizards really have individual personalities. So 9 times out of 10, or with the monitors, they've got personality, right? 9 times out of 10, they chill, and then a few of them, are just, like, what the fuck's going on? Where's my food? I've got one male white blue tongue, and he's been like cooled for like 6 weeks. He hasn't gotten to bed yet. He just sits at that front of his enclosure every day, looking at me like I'm an asshole. He's really angry at me. I changed his water yesterday, and he was huffing and puffing at me like he was just so angry. But I'm food cycling him. So, and he bred successfully last season. So I know he doesn't necessarily need to be asleep for the brumation to work. Just the food cycle works with him. So he can get as grumpy as he likes. He'll get lots of ladies. He'll get lots of ladies when I warm him up so he can stop sucking.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't help but to notice a lot of bearded dragon owners or breeders quite have some personality. These bearded dragons have some personalities. Like they almost do shit on command, it seems like, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know how much handling goes behind that. I don't know. I do see that you do quite a bit of interaction with your dragons, but how often are you making it like a route, like, making it a thing to take them out or mess with them, or is it just only when they're eating and stuff like that? Like, how often are you actually handling them?
Now, during brumation, we try not to handle them at all. If you can help it, just leave them, and you don't want them in and out all the time. You just want to let them chill. Mm-hmm. But the rest of the year, I've got 2 daughters and a son, 2 a 13-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old. Mm-hmm. We got dragons out all the time. Like, it's not very often there's not at least one lizard out. You sort of, no one really runs around inside the house because there's always a lizard on the floor. It's like, you don't want to step on one. So no, we have them out. We have them out a lot. And also, look, having your dragons out is very good for my Instagram views. So we need to take those videos. So I can't make Instagram reels while they're asleep. So now we have them out quite a bit, and it does help them. I've got a couple that like hate being held, but we still get them out, put them on the floor, throw food at them, let them explore the house a little bit. They're smart animals, lizards, and so if you just keep them in their cage all the time, or their enclosure, that's not a very rewarding life, and our dragons, they've all got names. They're not just like a commodity, like they really are part of our family. They're pets. Yeah. Like your lace monitors, they've got names. You do videos with them. You will get them walk around the house. You're talking to them and all that. I see all that on Instagram. It's the same with all of our lizards. Yeah, definitely.
Definitely more than anything I've ever expected. I'll tell you that much. I also looked at my snakes as part of the family, but something about a lizard, something about these monitors that just, like, the fact that that they know that what the fuck's happening, like they're a lot smarter than you think they are, and
it's like having a dog,
but a lot more intimidating, when we're talking about a lace.
Yeah.
I mean, my dog, I could go to my dog and I could bite his mouth and he ain't gonna do nothing. I'm pretty sure I can't do that to my face. Like, oh man, that would hurt. Let's just say that. I have got a bit. Good.
I have got a video of a bearded dragon biting my wife's face.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah,
Ow.
She hasn't let me put it on Instagram yet. I'm trying to convince her. I'm pretty sure that might blow up. So I do want to use it.
Well,
But
let's talk about one thing I hope no one ever out there ever gets bit by, because this is just something imagine getting bit by something like this. But look at this fucking bad boy. Oh my God.
yeah, so that's a Komodo. That's a female
Yep.
Komodo dragon.
And where's this at?
That's at the Australian Reptile Park in Sydney. So a good friend of mine, Jake, someone I met through the Herp Society in Victoria. He came down, did a talk. He's the head reptile guy at the Australian Reptile Park in Sydney. He has just successfully bred Komodo dragons. So he's just bred a pair. That's Jake there picking that Komodo up. Yeah. But yeah, so he's just bred them. And I walked that girl around on a lead for about half an hour around the park, and scared all the Asian tourists. It was pretty funny. They all went running. But yeah, so she's awesome. So my daughter, for her 10th birthday, I bought her. I arranged it with the reptile park, and she did a day up there as a junior zookeeper. So she went up there and worked for the day. And while she was doing that, I was just taking footage and videos and stuff for my Instagram page. I'm very active on Instagram, so please go and follow me. So I'm pretty active on Instagram. And this was actually, I did this. This is a live stream. I did a live stream and was answering people's questions and stuff while we walked this Komodo dragon around. But it's pretty awesome. She's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely. I would say the biggest reason why I'm in love with the lace monitor is just because how much these lace monitors have in common, or these lace monitors have in common with the Komodo dragon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that look at that crocodile one, the top in the middle there. Yeah, that's
this one right here.
Yeah, that's Elvis. So that's an Australian saltwater crocodile.
Jesus.
And Jake does a show with him. Waves food in front of him.
Wow.
He's pretty great. So
that is insane.
Yeah, it's nuts. So that's Jake, the guy I know. And he's tagged on all those posts about the reptile park on my page. So if you go to my page, you'll be able to go and follow Jake as well. And he's the head reptile guy at the Australian Reptile Park, and he's awesome. But yeah, so saltwater crocs, are awesome. That's the best. That's the best animal in Australia, easy, in my opinion.
I would say probably one of my number one, sought after, hoping I could get it down species that I'm more passionate about than anything else would be green tree pythons. Now one thing a lot of us chondro heads are obsessed with that we can't get, it's very uncommon to find an Australian green tree python in America. You know what I mean? Because how gigantic they are. These are just different green tree pythons. They're huge. I remember seeing a video with Steve Irwin back in the day of him visiting a collection in Oregon who had Australian species green tree pythons, and he was breaking down the difference with them. But do you have any knowledge behind the chondros that you guys have in Northern Australia?
Not really. I've seen one in the wild in far north Queensland, in the rainforest, on a perch. But no, I've got friends that do green trees. Friend of mine, Chris Fry, he does green trees, and look, there's a lot of people that do them here. I know it's actually one of the species of animals, I think, in Australia where there are some import animals that have come the other way into our collection. So, which is sort of unusual for us because it's a species that is here and in other countries. I think there's been a few things come back and forth. But yeah, it's not my cup of tea, their teeth are too big.
Yeah. I mean, that, and if your heart's too big, if you have too big of a heart, you don't want green tree pythons. I can tell you that right now. They're
hard to work with. I've heard you talk about them. Yeah, they're tough. Yeah,
the keeping part. If you know how to just give them what they need, it's super easy. But other than that, once it comes to breeding, good luck. You better not have any high hopes on anything. You better just pray. But that's just how it goes.
Yeah,
I would say other than the species you have now, I know we talked about you wanting to add a lace here at some point. What else is out there that you don't have that you're looking to add?
I'd like to do more monitor species. So at the moment, I've got Gillens. The other species I really like is Tristis, which is a black-headed monitor. They've just got a real slender, pointy head. They look like a dinosaur, like the way they move their head. I guess I've got a pygmy monitor at the moment, which is that the Gillens monitor, which is like tiny, full size, bearded dragon size, tiny. And then I want a lace, which is basically the second biggest monitor you can have in Australia. And in between that, I really like the Tristis, the blackheads, and the locality, which is what they call Perth Hills locality. They're super black, and I would like that because they look like melanistic, Yeah, but that'd be the way to go. But I'm mostly focusing on my recessive blue tongue mutations. I'm trying to build an army of double hets, so I can make some double visual animals eventually. That's the main thing I'm working on. Yeah. So
what about as far as long term, what are you looking to get out of your projects? I want to say in the next 10 years, I mean, are you working on stuff that has longevity to where you're looking to carry this on as long as you can, or what's going on as far as the future goes with everything?
Yeah, so we just added some whiplets, bearded dragons, which is a different mutation to the zero. So not many people in Australia work with those. So zero has become more common, but whiplet is uncommon. So we've added them recently. So I really want to sort of build up a bit of an army of those. Also want to mix the zero and the whiplets together, make weeros and have more of that sort of stuff. So definitely the bearded dragons, we've got lots of stuff to do. With the blue tongues, as I said, I'll be making double hets. So mixing, there's like a melanistic blue tongue, which is all black, like totally black. And I'll be mixing that with albino and making a double het for both. And then when you breed those and you have the double visual, which is like a 1 in 16 chance of getting, we call that a lava. And it's like an albino, but then the orange, the saturation is like wound up to like 100. It's even more orange. So I'm working on hopefully producing those. I've got a heap of double hets. I've got double hets with the black and the white, which hopefully make visual for platinum. I've got double hets for albino and the white, which makes sun glow. So it's a bit like doing ball pythons. You're just trying to breed those recessive mutations together. I know, ball pythons all used to be about codoms and, mix as many codoms and make as many visual things as you can straight away. Right. But with blue tongues, everything's recessive. So, you've got to breed hets or double hets, and then you've got to grow them up, and then you've got to breed them together. And you've got to have babies. So it's a much slower process doing the recessive, like you would know with the ball pythons. Right. So that's what I'm working on now. So at the moment, I've got 4 different double het mutations that I've bred myself in the last few years that I'm growing up. And then hopefully we can start to make some double visual stuff in the next season, Yeah.
Now, as far as the insects that you like to work with and breed, is this all purposely to feed your collection, or what's the reasoning behind breeding insects?
So I've got feeders, which are like woodies, which are sort of like dubia, which you guys have over there, and mealworms and just all feeder insects, but they're not pets. They live in the garage. We just feed them. They're feeder insects. We do breed spiny leaf insects, which are big, like big insects, and Goliath stick insects. So I've got a Goliath stick insect that's this long, So those are mad. Yep.
Looks fucking alien, bro. How'd you and these are native? I'm assuming they have to be native, right? So
yeah, this is Australia. Yeah. So that's a Goliath. Yeah. So she's a Goliath stick insect. She's about 12 months old. And she's huge. So she would be like from the tip of my fingers to about here.
Oh my god! And she's chill. She don't bite or anything.
Nah, she's chill. Awesome. Yep.
What does something like this eat? What do you feed it?
Just gum tree leaves, eucalyptus gum tree leaves. So
Wow.
we just go outside and cut the branches off small trees with lots of leaves, and we just have like a vase, like a glass vase in the enclosure with water. We just put the leaves in there, make like a little habitat, and they eat them. And then once the leaves go a bit dry and die, we just replenish them every week. But yeah, they're super easy to care for, like super easy. Yeah.
That is really
And
neat.
yeah, and they're great. They look cool. My daughter loves them, and they breed. They will breed parthenogenically. They'll just lay eggs and make more females if they haven't got a male present. So they replenish themselves all the time. So we end up with more and more and more eggs all the time. So at the moment we've got spiny leaf insect eggs that are hatching all the time, and yeah, they're great. They're great pets. They're awesome for kids. Yeah, that's
awesome. I will say, like, a lot of kids who aren't like into like the reptiles as much, I seem like they're more open to insects as a young age, from what I can tell. So which I'm sure that will be the gateway to a reptile if they're not into it. So just
I think that's a great idea, and you can give them to a younger kid, as long as they're gentle. They've got to be careful when they handle them. But they're super easy to look after, and they're cheap. They're not expensive to buy from the shop. You can buy one of those Goliath ones that grows massive for like $30. So, yeah, they're a great, cheap, cool pet. Something different. Better than a guinea pig or whatever. Like boring,
smelly ass little mother.
Yeah, they're clean. The kid could have it in their bedroom. I mean, it doesn't. It's it's a great pet.
All right, so listen, I have a wrap-up question before we get into some hot seat questions here, Luke. I'm curious on what your take is, and maybe others in Australia, as far as like the YouTube influencer side of things. Like you got to understand how big of an influence Steve Irwin was on this country, right? But then you have people who literally are dressing up like him for videos and jumping into the water and fucking really pretending like, they're, I'm not saying that anything Steve didn't do wasn't scripted or was set up. I'm sure he's pretty sure it was, but like the shit you see here is kind of like, what the fuck, So what is when you see something like that, when you see somebody with a content acting to be like a herper in Australia or doing something that extreme, which isn't really natural here, what do you really think of that? I'm just curious.
There's only one Steve Irwin.
Amen.
Straight up. So the rest of them are just pretending. But look, he's opened the door for people to be able to do more of that stuff. Like even, Brian Barczyk's stuff, Right. If it wasn't for people like Steve Irwin, there wouldn't really be people like Brian either on YouTube, right? Like,
Right.
I think people like Steve really created that genre of TV and of content. And it's probably bigger. It's probably bigger on YouTube than it is on mainstream TV. Steve was sort of that bridge between what people do on YouTube to what you get on mainstream TV, and that's how he became so big. But look, I like everyone's content. I don't like fake shit. I like real stuff. But I love watching Brian. I like watching Camp Kennan's stuff. There's lots of people like that on YouTube that I like all their stuff. I think it's great. As long as it's not, fake and over dramatized or makes the reptile community look stupid. There's probably a bit too much drama in the reptile community. Relax.
Think? Jesus.
Yeah, I don't do Facebook groups. I just stay clear of that. Yeah. I learned where the block button is on Instagram. Just get away from me. If you're doing that sort of stuff. So yeah, but yeah, look, I like it. I love Instagram. I love making reels. I love doing videos. It's awesome. Yeah.
It's mine.
Oh, I think it's you.
Oh boy. You.
I'm still here.
Oh.
Wheel of Death. Well, that's no good. Wow. MJ with the Father's Day internet quality. He's dropped out.
You see me? You hear? Sorry.
Hey, you're back.
Wow. Not sure what happened there. I apologize.
That's all right.
You know, what did we leave at? I'm so sorry. I know I was trying to get back.
Oh, you were just asking about Steve Irwin and videos and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, look, I like everything. I like everyone's content. I watch lots of content. I love YouTube. I love watching your podcast. I watch Chris Eaton's podcast. I watch lots of other, you know, podcasts. You know, I watch Brian Barczyk's videos pretty religiously, you know.
Right. But even like Barczyk, right? Like Barczyk, there's only one Barczyk. Like Barczyk created his own persona, like, and that's why I respect Barczyk. Like he never, you know, he backed off anyone or you know, he did his own thing, which a lot of people tried copying what he did, you know, and I just wish a lot of people would just kind of come up with their own shit nowadays instead of just always being a different version of something else, which isn't a bad thing. But I feel like if you're going to copy somebody, eventually evolve into your own and do your own thing, you know, but don't just be the same fucking copier all the way through, you know. I don't switch it up.
Well, the thing that Brian does, I think, is really smart, is that he looks outside of the reptile community for inspiration about how to make his videos for the reptile community, you know? So, you know, he's taking inspiration off, say, Mr. Beast, you know, and getting inspiration.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So if you go and take inspiration outside of the reptile community and then bring that in and make the reptile community better, I think that's great, you know? So, you know, I follow a lot of like photography people, and the way they make their reels and their editing and stuff on Instagram. So I try and make I think my reels are a bit different to most reptile people's reels, hopefully. Right. But you know, my focus is just building my Instagram and doing lots of video content on there, and you know, see how we go.
It's funny you mentioned that because I remember a couple of years back having a conversation with Barczyk, and he was mentioning people that he like kind of looks at and gets ideas from. None of them are reptile people, bro. Like not one person is a reptile person. And it's funny because a lot of ideas I try to implement from other podcasts are not reptile related podcasts. Like not at all. Like why am I going to watch another reptile podcast when I already know it's all fucking watered down? Like I'm no offense. I'm just saying it's all watered down shit. So I don't know. I don't want to be biased or anything like that. I will say shout out to Jessica Hare's podcast. Well, what's in my old background? That shit's raw. I do like that shit. Please go give that a subscription on YouTube. But man, what an amazing episode. Listen, I'm glad. I know this was only an hour, but it's Father's Day and I have arrangements with the wife and whatnot.
Of course.
This was an amazing podcast, and this will be round 2 worthy. Like I said, I'm going to shoot for getting Emma on here next time, and I will make it at a decent hour so nobody's waking up fucking crack of dawn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Dude, awesome podcast. Let's get these hot seat questions lock and load, and I'll let you enjoy your day. Okay, Luke?
All right, go for it.
All right, here we go. Hot seat questions for the homie Luke Lizard Morphs. No explanation. You've seen these go down, so the faster the better. You ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Frozen thought or live?
Live.
A cut or no cut?
No cut.
Red Chondro Neo or yellow Chondro Neo?
Yellow.
Pre-first shed meal or post-first shed meal?
Pre.
Favorite lizard species of all time?
Komodo dragon.
Love it. To mist or spray a lizard or to not mist or spray a lizard?
Not.
Okay.
I give him a bath.
You soak them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yay imports or boo imports?
I wish yay imports.
But if it was up to you right now, would you say yeah? If it was up to you?
Oh yeah, 100%. And I would love to export, you know?
Oh, yeah, you'd kill it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number one reptile you would import to your collection anywhere around the world if you could. Doesn't matter what it is.
Asian water monitor.
Nice. Damn. Okay. Yay sports or boo sports?
Yay.
Favorite sport?
American sport? NFL.
No, any for your favorite sport, period. What is your favorite sport?
NFL.
Okay. What's your favorite NFL team?
Well, I like two.
Shit. No, here we go. You're an American. If you like two, you're definitely an American. Let's hear it.
I worked at two.
Okay, let's hear it.
Kansas City Chiefs and Chicago Bears.
Oh no, the Chiefs. I'm a Raiders fan, bro. You don't say that here. Oh no, Luke. I liked you this entire time until you said the Chiefs.
Yeah, man. I
do love the Bears though. The Bears, I'm not like a huge Bears fan, but I've never disliked the Bears. I've always enjoyed the Bears, Chicago Bears. You know what I'm saying? They're awesome.
I did some powerlifting coaching with some players at both of those teams.
Right.
And so yeah, I've been to both of those teams a couple of times, and probably Chiefs more than the Bears. Yeah.
Right. Favorite place?
Chiefs are my number one. Yeah.
Okay, stop. You didn't have to say that. You didn't. You could have just kept going, Luke, and you didn't have to say Chiefs were my number one. Thanks. We get it. Fuck, Luke. Just kidding. Number one place you'd visit. Number one place you'd love to visit in the United States.
New York.
Oof, you gotta love New York. Steak or fish?
Steak.
Favorite cut?
Fish. Ribeye.
Yay alcohol or boo alcohol?
Yay.
Okay. Favorite alcohol beverage?
Scotch.
Awesome. Let's see. AC/DC or Metallica?
Metallica.
Woo! I love it. West Coast rap or East Coast rap?
West.
Favorite West Coast rapper?
Dre.
All right. Favorite snake species?
I love ball pythons.
Wow, really? Wow. Yeah, I love it though. Yeah,
I love all
loves ball pythons.
I just love the mutations and all the colors. Man, if I could have ball pythons, I would have so many fucking ball pythons.
I have people legendary like Keith McPete, other legendary keepers who've been to Australia, has done herpings, and ball pythons is the one thing that does not live in these people's collections. And the fact that you said this is just fucking gold. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
So
I could have carpet pythons. I could have all the Antaresia. I could have whatever I want in Australia, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I just love ball pythons. They look great.
All right. Little word association first.
What was that?
Are we good? Is there?
You're back. You're back. Yeah. What was that? Word association.
All right. Little word association. Yeah. First thing to come to mind: substrate.
No.
Oh my God! Really? Oh, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Is there a lag? Are you there?
There was, but it's back
okay,
now.
Sorry.
You're good.
All right. Let's start that over here. All right, hold on. All right, let's start this over. All right, we're gonna start this over. A little word association, okay?
Okay.
Milk.
No. Yuck.
Stuck shed.
Soak.
Cocoa.
No.
Ovulation.
Yay.
Instagram trolls.
Block.
If you had to work with one species and one species only, is it going to be blue tongue skink or bearded dragons? Which one?
Blue tongue skinks.
Awesome, man. Well, you did it, bro. You just nailed those hot seat questions. Good shit. We had well over 40 people at one point tapping into this episode. What do you have to say to everyone spending their Father's Day watching you kill this shit right now? What do you have to say to everyone?
Oh, I appreciate it a lot. Thank you very much for watching me on Father's Day. Especially being right in the middle of the day. I really appreciate it. And go follow me on Instagram.
Yes, definitely go follow Luke and Emma on Instagram, Lizard Morphs. Thank you so much for this. And like I said, we will have you back on. Hopefully we'll get Emma back on here for the round 2. But that's a wrap for my man Luke, Lizard Morphs. Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Dude, thank you so much, Luke. I'll talk to you later, man. Have a good day.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Later on, buddy. Great episode, guys. Thank you so much. Again, appreciate everyone spending their Sunday afternoon, evening, morning, wherever the fuck you're at. You're tapped in. Appreciate it. Coolest reptile podcast in the world. That's a fact. Guys, tomorrow it's going down. We have somebody tapping in who came recommended from one of the heaviest hitters in the ball python game. I'm not going to lie. And you know what's awesome about this guy who sends me this list of people that he feels like I should be bringing to my new Breed on the Block series? This guy happens to be one of my Patreon members. So he's family. So guess what? Going down tomorrow on Trap Talk with MJ's new Breed on the Block series, the homie Herbert Bonella from HB Reptiles going down right here, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Go down to the link, click on the link, set your reminder, and it's going to go down. Cannot wait. It's going to be awesome, and I appreciate everyone so much. Guys, go enjoy the rest of your Father's Day. Go give your pops a hug. I'm going to give my pops a hug. And yeah, I will catch you guys here tomorrow. I appreciate all the love and support. Again, thank you, Luke. Shout out Lizard Morphs. Go over to Instagram right now and go follow my man on Luke and Emma at Lizard Morphs. Go down to the link below, and I appreciate you guys so much. I will catch you guys here tomorrow, and I'm out.